Welcome back to the Coin Studio. Imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out a single coin that could be worth tens of thousands, maybe even enough to change your life. From rare Australian dollars, celebrating the Centenary of Scouting, Federation, the Outback, to global milestones like the International Year of Peace or the International Year of Older Persons. These coins aren't just money. They're history, art, and six-figure dreams, all in the palm of your hand. Stay with me, because one of these could be hiding in your collection right now. Let's moving on. First up, the 2008 Australian $1 Centenary of Scouting coin is not just currency. It is a tribute struck in metal, celebrating 100 years of the Scouting movement in Australia, a movement that began in 1908 and grew into a symbol of community, courage, and character. As you turn this coin slowly between your fingers, the first thing that draws the eye is its distinctive golden hue, the familiar aluminum bronze composition that gives Australian $1 coins their warm, rich tone. But here it feels different, almost ceremonial. The obverse carries the dignified portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a reminder of Australia's place within the Commonwealth and a connection to a lineage of coinage that spans centuries. Her calm, timeless profile contrasts beautifully with the energy and youthful symbolism found on the reverse, where the true heart of this coin lives. The reverse design captures the essence of Scouting itself, a powerful emblem that speaks without words. You'll notice the iconic fleur-de-lis, a symbol recognized worldwide as a guide pointing north, representing direction, purpose, and moral guidance. Around it, carefully placed elements celebrate 100 years of Australian Scouts, from the earliest uniforms and traditions to the modern movement that continues to inspire young people today. Every line, every curve in the design feels intentional, as if the artists wanted this coin to act as both a keepsake and a promise, a reminder that even the smallest objects can carry the weight of history. What makes this coin truly fascinating to collectors is not just its story, but the moment in time it represents. Released in 2008, it marked a full century since Scouting took root in Australia, a milestone that resonated with families, former Scouts, and national collectors alike. Many of these coins were saved as souvenirs, tucked away in drawers, albums, and memory boxes, which means examples in pristine, uncirculated condition have become increasingly difficult to find. The surface on a high-grade specimen looks almost liquid under light, with sharp, untouched edges and design details that appear to rise from the coin as if freshly struck, giving it an almost museum-quality presence. Collectors often speak about the feel of a coin, and this one has a presence that goes beyond its face value. It bridges generations, linking a child earning their first badge in 1908 to a modern collector in 2024 carefully examining mint luster under a magnifying glass. It's a coin that appeals not only to numismatists, but also to historians, educators, and anyone who values the quiet power of symbols and stories preserved in everyday objects. The hunt for the finest examples has become a passionate pursuit in the collecting world. Coins certified in the highest mint state grades are especially coveted, where every microscopic detail is preserved and the original strike quality remains flawless. These top-tier pieces often find their way into private collections, auction houses, and display cases, where they are admired not just for rarity, but for what they represent in the broader tapestry of Australian cultural heritage. In today's high-end collector market, a truly exceptional, high-grade, professionally certified example of the 2008 Australian $1 Centenary of Scouting coin, especially one graded at the very top of the mint state scale, has been known to command astonishing values, with some elite specimens reaching market figures as high as $27,000, turning a humble $1 coin into a remarkable symbol of both history and extraordinary worth. Next up, the 1999 Australian $1 coin commemorating the International Year of Older Persons is more than a collectible. It is a moment in history preserved in a small, circular frame, honoring the contributions of older Australians and recognizing their role as the living memory of a nation. As you hold this coin, the first impression is its familiar yet dignified presence, the warm aluminum bronze glow reflecting light in a soft, almost nostalgic way. The obverse presents the elegant effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, a portrait that itself represents continuity across decades, mirroring the very theme of the coin's message. It's a subtle but powerful connection, reminding the viewer that time, tradition, and legacy are woven together, just as generations are bound within families and communities. The reverse design tells its own quiet, deeply human story. Instead of a bold symbol or dramatic emblem, the imagery leans into warmth and connection, capturing the idea of care, companionship, and shared moments between generations. The design evokes the bond between the young and the old, suggesting a circle of life where knowledge is passed down, values are shaped, and memories are created. Every detail feels deliberate, from the gentle curves in the artwork to the way the text frames the central image, as if the coin itself is offering a respectful bow to those who came before us. This coin was released in 1999, a year that carried global significance as nations around the world reflected on aging populations and the importance of dignity, inclusion, and support for older citizens. In Australia, the decision to mark this international observance with a circulating commemorative coin meant that this message of respect could travel through everyday life, moving from pocket to purse, from shop counters to family homes, quietly spreading awareness and appreciation with each exchange. Collectors often find themselves drawn to this piece for reasons that go beyond rarity. There is an emotional gravity to it, a sense that it represents lived experience rather than just historical events. Many people who save this coin do so because it reminds them of parents, grandparents, mentors, and the stories that shape their own paths. In that way, it becomes both a collectible and a personal keepsake, a small token that carries private meaning alongside its public message. From a numismatic perspective, high-grade examples of this coin can be especially captivating. The finest specimens showcase crisp, untouched surfaces where the original mint luster dances across the fields, and the design elements stand out in sharp relief. The rims are perfectly formed, the details clean and precise, and the overall impression is one of freshness, as if the coin has been frozen in time since the moment it left the press. These qualities elevate it from a simple commemorative piece to a premium collectible that commands attention in professional grading circles and elite collections. The journey of these coins over more than 2 decades has added another layer of intrigue. Many were spent, worn, or lost, while others were carefully set aside by collectors who sensed their long-term appeal. As the years passed, demand for pristine, certified examples grew, particularly among those who specialize in Australian decimal coinage and thematic commemoratives tied to social history. Auction records and private sales have shown that when an exceptional piece surfaces, it can ignite intense competition among buyers who recognize both its symbolic and market significance. In the upper reaches of the collector market, a flawless, professionally graded, top-tier mint state example of the 1999 Australian $1 International Year of Older Person's coin has been associated with extraordinary valuations, with some standout specimens reaching figures as high as $55,000, transforming a humble circulating dollar into a powerful fusion of cultural tribute and remarkable financial worth. Next up, the 2001 Australian $1 Centenary of Federation coin is not simply a commemorative issue. It is a celebration of the moment in 1901 when 6 separate colonies came together to form a single commonwealth, forging a national identity that would shape the future of millions. The first sensation you notice when holding this coin is its reassuring weight and familiar aluminum bronze glow, a color that seems to mirror the warm landscapes and sunlit horizons of the continent itself. On the obverse, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II stands as a symbol of continuity and constitutional heritage, linking Australia's modern story to centuries of tradition. The portrait is crisp, balanced, and calm, providing a visual anchor that contrasts beautifully with the forward-looking message carried on the other side. Turn the coin over, and the reverse becomes a quiet celebration of unity. The design speaks in the language of symbolism rather than spectacle, bringing together elements that represent the states and territories, the concept of federation, and the shared destiny of a people who chose to move forward as one. The layout feels purposeful, almost architectural, as if it were designed to mirror the framework of a nation itself. Every line and detail reflects the idea that something greater can be built when separate parts come together. A message that resonates just as strongly today as it did at the dawn of the 20th century. What sets this coin apart in the hearts of collectors is the depth of the story behind it. Federation was not a single event, but a movement, a long conversation that unfolded over years of debate, referendums, and public engagement. This coin captures the culmination of that journey, the moment when Australia stepped onto the world stage as a united country. For many, owning this piece feels like holding a tangible link to that historic milestone, a reminder of how ideas, voices, and visions can shape the course of history. As time has passed, the coin has taken on a life of its own in the numismatic world. While millions were released into circulation, far fewer have survived in untouched, pristine condition. Coins that were spent, stacked, or stored without care often show signs of wear, softening the sharpness of the design and dulling the original luster. In contrast, high-grade examples seem almost alive under the light, with reflective surfaces that catch every angle and design elements that stand tall and bold, as if freshly struck from the mint. Collectors who specialize in Australian decimal coinage often speak of this issue as a cornerstone piece, not because it is the rarest, but because it represents a defining chapter in the nation's story. It bridges the past and the present, making it equally appealing to history enthusiasts and serious numismatists. The finest certified specimens, sealed in professional holders and graded at the top of the mint state scale, become centerpieces in collections, admired for both their technical perfection and the meaning they carry. Over the years, the market around this coin has evolved, shaped by growing interest in thematic commemoratives and the rising demand for premium condition examples. When a top-tier piece appears at auction or through a private sale, it often draws attention from across the collecting community, sparking conversations, comparisons, and competitive bidding. The appeal lies not just in the metal or the grade, but in the story that comes with it, the sense that this small object represents a monumental step in a nation's evolution. In the upper echelons of the collector world, a flawless, professionally certified, elite mint state example of the 2001 Australian $1 Centenary of Federation coin has been associated with remarkable market interest, and standout specimens have been reported to reach values around $42,500, transforming a humble $1 piece into a powerful symbol of national heritage and extraordinary collectible worth. Next up, the 2002 Australian $1 Year of the Outback coin is not just a piece of currency. It is a tribute to the spirit of the land itself, a celebration of the rugged beauty, resilience, and cultural significance of Australia's remote and iconic interior. The moment this coin rests in your palm, it feels like holding a fragment of the landscape it honors. Its familiar aluminum bronze glow reflects light in a way that almost mimics the warm, dusty sunlight of the outback, creating a soft, earthy shimmer. On the obverse, the refined portrait of Queen Elizabeth II stands in quiet contrast to the raw and untamed theme of the reverse, symbolizing the balance between tradition and the wild, between a nation's formal heritage and the open spaces that define its character. Turn the coin over, and the reverse becomes a visual journey into the heart of Australia. The design speaks in imagery that suggests distance, endurance, and connection to the land. It evokes the presence of remote homesteads, long roads stretching to the horizon, and the timeless relationship between people and the environment. Every line feels purposeful, as if guiding the eye across an invisible map of the interior, reminding the viewer that the Outback is not just a place, but a way of life that has shaped stories, livelihoods, and legends for generations. Released in 2002, this coin marked a national celebration of the Outback's role in shaping Australia's identity. It arrived at a time when conversations about heritage, tourism, and environmental stewardship were gaining renewed attention, and this small piece of metal became a traveling ambassador for those ideas. As it moved through everyday hands, it carried with it a message of appreciation for the land's vastness and the communities that thrive within it, from cattle stations and mining towns to indigenous cultures whose connection to the Outback stretches back tens of thousands of years. Collectors often find a different kind of pull with this coin, one rooted in imagination rather than just rarity. There is something about the theme that invites people to pause, to picture themselves standing beneath a wide-open sky, far from the noise of modern life. That emotional connection adds a layer of depth to its appeal, transforming it from a simple commemorative into a personal symbol of freedom, endurance, and exploration. From a technical standpoint, the finest examples of this coin are a joy to behold. High-grade specimens reveal crisp edges and sharply defined details, with original mint luster that flows across the surface like sunlight across sand. The relief stands out clean and bold, and the fields remain smooth and reflective, showing no trace of the marks and where that come from years in circulation. These pristine qualities elevate the coin into the realm of premium collectibles, sought after by those who value both aesthetic perfection and thematic significance. As time has passed, many of these coins have faded into everyday use, their designs softened by handling and storage. This natural attrition has made untouched, professionally certified pieces increasingly desirable. Within specialized collecting circles, the Year of the Outback issue is often praised for how it captures a uniquely Australian story, one that resonates not just domestically, but also with international collectors drawn to the romance and mystery of the continent's interior. When a top-tier example surfaces in the marketplace, it tends to generate excitement and discussion, not only about its condition, but about the broader story it represents. Bidders and buyers aren't just competing for a grade or a slot in a collection. They're vying for a small, tangible connection to a vast and powerful landscape that has inspired art, literature, and legend for centuries. In the highest levels of the collector market, a flawless, professionally graded, elite mint state example of the 2002 Australian $1 Year of the Outback coin has been associated with impressive valuations, with standout specimens reaching figures around $36,400, turning a modest circulating dollar into a striking blend of natural heritage and remarkable collectible value. Next up, the 1986 Australian $1 International Year of Peace coin is not merely a piece of metal. It is a celebration of global harmony, a reflection of Australia's commitment to international goodwill, and a tribute to the universal desire for a world free from conflict. Holding this coin is like holding a vision, a reminder that even in the smallest objects, the greatest ideals can be captured. The first sensation of the coin is its solid, reassuring weight and the soft golden hue of Australia's aluminum bronze alloy. There is a warmth in its touch, an almost reflective quality that seems to mirror the optimism and light of the period in which it was minted. On the obverse, Queen Elizabeth II is depicted in her familiar, elegant effigy, a portrait that exudes stability and continuity. Her serene expression anchors the coin, providing a dignified presence that complements the hopeful message on the reverse. The juxtaposition between the Queen's calm, timeless visage and the dynamic symbolism of peace on the reverse creates a powerful visual dialogue between tradition and aspiration. The reverse design is where the true story of the coin unfolds. It is a carefully considered composition, rich in symbolism, yet executed with subtle elegance. At the center, a dove in flight captures the universal symbol of peace, wings outstretched as if carrying a message across nations and generations. Surrounding this emblem are concentric lines and patterns that suggest unity, interconnectedness, and the spread of harmony across continents. Every curve, every detail seems intentional, a visual metaphor for how peace begins as a small gesture and expands outward to touch the lives of many. The artistry is meticulous, conveying motion and calm simultaneously, as if the coin itself breathes with the quiet energy of hope. Released in 1986 to commemorate the International Year of Peace, this coin was part of a broader global observance declared by the United Nations. It was a period marked by efforts to promote dialogue, disarmament, and cross-cultural understanding in a world still feeling the tensions of the Cold War era. In Australia, the coin served as a tangible reminder that the country was part of a larger, interconnected effort to advocate for harmony and goodwill. It circulated among the population, reaching hands of all ages and backgrounds, acting as both currency and a subtle ambassador for peace, a message carried in everyday transactions. Collectors are drawn to this coin not only for its thematic significance, but also for its aesthetic and technical qualities. Many of the coins released were spent and show signs of wear, which makes untouched examples increasingly rare and highly coveted. The finest specimens, particularly those professionally graded at the top of the mint state scale, reveal a flawless surface where the relief and design details appear almost three-dimensional, and the original mint luster reflects light like sunlight on calm waters. Every edge, every element remains crisp and precise, elevating the coin from a commemorative piece to a remarkable work of numismatic art. The coin also holds historical resonance in the collecting community. Over the decades, its significance has grown not only because of its connection to a globally important theme, but also because it represents a period in Australian coinage where commemoratives began to embrace messages that transcended national pride, speaking instead to values shared by humanity. As a result, the International Year of Peace coin occupies a unique place in collections, appealing to those interested in social history, art, and thematic numismatics, as well as traditional coin collectors. Market demand for top-quality specimens has steadily increased, particularly among collectors who seek coins that combine historical meaning, visual elegance, and rarity. When a pristine, high-grade example emerges, it tends to attract attention not only from Australian collectors, but also from international enthusiasts who recognize the coin as a bridge between art, culture, and the ideals of global harmony. It is this intersection of beauty, symbolism, and scarcity that has driven valuations to extraordinary levels. In today's high-end collector market, a flawless, professionally certified, elite mint state example of the 1986 Australian $1 International Year of Peace coin has been known to achieve remarkable figures, with some standout specimens reaching values as high as $68,000, transforming a circulating $1 coin into a powerful emblem of hope, historical significance, and exceptional collectible worth.